I want to do this clip. Jesse, I believe I sent it to you earlier. I want to do this clip. No, I didn't send it to you. Give me a sec. I want to do this clip of Joe Sakic yesterday. Because this clip, I mean, this sort of sums up, I'm just sending it to you now. This sums up what Steve said earlier, which is the only team that's eliminated where the playoffs could get worse for them is the Colorado Avalanche. And it was, I think, doubled down on by Sakic and McFarland. And I tweeted out last night, if you're a Jets fan, you should only hate two people in this series, and it's Tulsky and Sakic. And everybody's like, but Chris McFarland is the general manager. Nah. Yeah, just like Kyle Dubas was under Brendan Shanahan. Sure.
And Bobby Webster is for the Raptors.
100%. Yeah. It's Sakic making the calls in Colorado, okay? I don't care what you say. Chris McFarland does all the work. Sakic is the guy that goes yay or nay.
Yeah.
He is the one who knocks. And I want you to listen to his answer here when they talked about why the Mikko Rantanen situation didn't work out in Colorado, why they felt the need to trade.
For our live audience, just imagine an interview. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I was part of everything that was going on. And as a group, we felt we had a decision to make, and it's a tough decision, trading a guy like that. But you look at where we were in the last few years, we weren't good enough. We weren't deep enough. We won in 22 because we had our stars, but we were also deep, and you can't win the Stanley Cup without it. And status quo wasn't good enough. We wanted to have him signed, and I'm not going to go into details and say, talk about negotiations, but they know where they were at before the trade was made. So, but after the deadline, we love the team we have. If it was up to me, if we could do it, and we'd love to bring this same unit back and try and go on another run. But we felt we had to get deeper, and not only for this season's team, but moving forward, that just paying 3 high-end guys and not having a surrounding cast wasn't going to get it done.
The key part there is the first part where he says, I was a part of everything that was going on. And I want people to understand this because, again, the responses to that tweet, I was like, do you guys really not know that Sakic is making the calls here?
To me, the best part was Chris McFarland saying 0 words.
Well, the question was for Joe.
Yes. But because Joe's the one doing everything.
Because you asked Joe, because who cares what Chris has to say
He's
on
a guy.
that subject? This is, if Chris McFarland wants to make a trade for a depth player, I'm sure Joe Sakic's like, yeah, man, whatever you want to do. When it's Mikko Rantanen, that is an organization that goes to the owner.
You might want to run that up the flagpole, yeah.
You talk about that.
Yeah.
And clearly they did, and clearly they felt like whatever they're going to have to pay Cale Makar, I'm sure it's going to be like $15 million.
A lot of money.
They didn't feel like they wanted to go the Toronto model. And I don't blame them for that, although Toronto had 4 guys, not 3. And
you've won with these ones, though.
You have.
You've won with these ones, and
the cap is exploding.
With the Leafs, I hate that comparable. I understand the validity of it, but the Leafs haven't gotten it done. That's been the number one knock. The Avalanche very much have. They went and made all these additions. Imagine you're able to go out and get Nelson. You're able to go out and get Coyle. You make those 2 changes in net, and you still have Rantanen. And you don't have to play against Rantanen. They're going to have to play that guy for the next half decade.
Oh, half decade.
He's going to haunt them.
He's in their division. This is crazy. We already talked about it. We think they're going to meet 4 or 5 times in the next 10 years, right? So
Oilers met the Kings 4 straight years. 4. That could happen to you. That could happen to Colorado. Your hope for the foreseeable future is they win the division, so you're the 2 or 3 seed.
Now, it is important to know that there was only a couple of goals differentiation in this entire
Doesn't
series,
matter.
Right? Jesse, do you think that...
you know how many series the Leafs have lost by 1 goal?
Most of them.
Knock it off.
Do you think that Colorado, if they bring back this group, they've got just as good a chance as anybody to win the Cup next year?
I don't know. I would just much rather have Mikko Rantanen.
Okay.
Like I
over
feel
Anichis and Jack Drury.
100%. And like who knows what Brock Nelson's going to do? Like it's
Well,
it's
he
his
can do
decision.
anything.
He can just walk away. Like you see what Mikko Rantanen is doing in the playoffs. You would much rather have Mikko Rantanen.
Rantanen had 1 assist in the first 4 games, and Colorado looked pretty good. The second he arrived, it wasn't close.
And now you got to ask the question, was Nathan McKinnon holding back Mikko Rantanen? Is
know
that
what people
the
are
key
saying
to everything?
I did ask you, though, on the pre-show last night, I wondered if internally Colorado, one of their calculations was, Rantanen's been great, but he's played with Nathan McKinnon the entire time. And I wonder if they
probably
thought, hey, there's the Nathan McKinnon bubble that kind of gives you, maybe they thought, okay, without Nate, his production's actually about 5 or 10% less than it would be. And that's significant do they look at it that way, and that's why they make that calculation?
The in and out of this year is wonky. I really like what they did in net. You gave up the sun and the moon to get Brock Nelson while trading down, I'm going to say, to get Anichis. Like, Anichis fit in really well in Colorado. He'll never fit in as well as a guy who won a cup with you in 2022.
And is the best playoff scorer of this generation.
Yes! With McKinnon.
And McKinnon had 7 goals in that first round.
And he looked lonely.
Yeah. I don't know how many people listen to the pre-show and then also listen to the pod, so I'll just repeat myself on what you're talking about. But we were talking about like them making that decision, evaluating everything that goes into it. And NHL teams, they have NHL scouts. It's not just amateur scouting that they do. NHL scouts exist and they're on the payroll, and they look at around the league and they evaluate talent based on their own roster and the guys that are available and so forth. And I think a lot of the guys in the Colorado Avalanche organization have to wear this from that standpoint in terms of them assessing their talent against the talent that's in the rest of the league, because they thought we can get rid of Mikko Rantanen, bring in these other players, and we're going to be better for it. Not even just like we're going to maintain that value. We're going to improve if we move him away. And what actually happened is they got rid of a guy who's irreplaceable. And they didn't recognize that when they had it. And they didn't recognize that for the extra $800,000, $500,000,
it was
$1
$700,000,
million.
by the way. It's $700,000
Whatever
a season.
the
That's
number
what they were
is,
apart.
if it's
Less than a league min player.
Yeah.
$700,000 per season, that guy is worth more than the Drury and the Anichis and the picks that you're going to bring in. That player, his talent in comparison to the rest of the players in the league is worth more than that. And they did a very poor job at this trade deadline, and with the Brock Nelson deal and him not stepping up in the playoffs at all, evaluating their talent and the talent in the rest of the league. And I think somebody, if it's Chris McFarland and the guys under him or Joe Sakic, whoever makes that final decision, they did a really bad job.
I know the comparison has been made to the Leafs, being very top heavy and everything. Before we saw how they've done in the playoffs, which is pretty good so far, there was still a conversation of, well, the cap is going up. And that's been a big problem, is the cap is not going up. And even us, like sickos, we're like, I don't know, maybe you do run it back. Colorado had every legitimate reason to try to run it back, and they didn't. No bueno. No bueno. And like, it couldn't have gone worse. And you know what sucks for Colorado is there's a game 2 of the Dallas Jets series as well. And it's going to be followed by a game 3 and 4, and it might even go longer than that. It's not fun.
No.
It's their playoff is going to get worse and worse and worse without them even hitting the ice. Not fun.
Well, they're going to have to wear it for a very long time because Mikko Rantanen's going to be a star for a very, very long time.
Prayers for Drew.
Oh, boy.
Prayers for producer Drew.